First hour today, anything you ever wanted to know. All questions answered at 800-933-5372 or gms@kera.org. From Craig, listening on the sly at work. Why do we say that we hear or heard an alarm go off? When I hear an alarm, it's because it's on. And when I hear it no more, it's because it's turned off. Good question. I have no clue. From John, been recently going to the Fort Worth Cats baseball games. I know the Cats are in the Central Baseball League and are an independent league, but there's a lot I wonder about and don't know, and I've heard you keep score at baseball games, so I thought I'd ask. What's the difference between an affiliate team and an independent team? What is meant by single A, double A, and triple A baseball? Where do the Cats get their players from, and where do their players go when they move, in quotation marks, up? The difference between affiliate and independent, I don't know, except that I think maybe affiliate is probably a farm team of a major league team, and an independent team is just a team, and they don't have a formal association with a major league team. Single A, double A, triple A is just the way that they describe. Triple A is basically the next step down from the big leagues. And the step down from that is double A. Some guy gets drafted out of college or out of high school, and he'll go to a rookie league someplace, and if he's any good, he'll go to a single A team in Pensacola or somewhere. And then if he's any good, maybe he moves up to double A and then triple A. And triple A is basically the point where you go from to the show. And if you ever hear about, some major league guy who's had injury problems or something goes wrong and they want to have him work the kinks out, they'll almost always send him down to their AAA team, which is, again, the next best thing from the major leagues. And where do the Fort Worth Cats get their players from? I don't know, because I don't know about the Cats. If they are a farm team of a major league team, then presumably the major league team signs these kids and sends them to Fort Worth. If they're not affiliated with a major league team, then I don't know. They just go find them someplace. Somebody will help. 800-933-5372, gms@kera.org. From Perez, why is it that multiple children of the same parents are not identical? You have one set of DNA, which is fixed from each parent. Where and when does the variant randomizing occur? Good question. How come you and your sisters and brothers aren't all the same? 800-933-5372 or gms@kera.org. From Tony, in the old days when someone had the hots for someone else, they used the term pine, as in I was pining for you. My guess is that pine was short for or a mispronunciation of some word more relevant to human emotion and had nothing to do with trees, but I'm at a loss. Can anyone help? Well, I could if I knew, but I don't. From JW, where can I find the correct name and, with any luck, a copy of either the sheet music or record of a song from the mid to late 50s with the words, "Do what you did when you did what you done last night"? This is from Jeanette in Quitman. I hope we can help her there. And one more, then we'll get some phone calls at 800-933-5372 or gms@kera.org. From Ken in Arlington, when calling from Fort Worth to Dallas, most calls require a 1 for long distance. Some companies have metro numbers, which makes the local call and doesn't require a 1. Why is the phone system smart enough to tell me I've dialed in correctly, but not smart enough to just put the call through? An excellent question. With any luck, we'll find out the answer. 800-933-5372, gms@kera.org. First hour today, all questions answered or at least considered. We'll start with Randall in Denton. Hi.
Yes, sir, Glenn. I was wondering about the origin of the word nincompoop.
Okay. You want to know where it comes from, what it means? Well, we know what it means, but...
the origin of it, where it comes from, yes, sir.
I don't know. We'll do our best to find out.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Somebody I'll bet will know that at 800-933-5372. How about Carlos in Denton? Good afternoon.
Hey. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. I have two quick questions. One is somewhat pedestrian. I've been looking for a type of Mexican sausage that's similar to chorizo, It doesn't have links. It's just continuous like a rope. It's called longaniza. I've looked all over the place, and nobody even has heard of it. I was wondering if anybody out there that may know some, obscure meat market or something like that might actually make it. It's quite popular in Mexico, and I've never seen it here.
Okay, and say the name again.
Longaniza, Longiniza.
Okay.
And my other question is the song Apache was actually an instrumental.
Yes.
A couple questions. First of all, who actually wrote it for the first time? I keep on getting different authors. One of them's a Norwegian. I can't remember the pronounce his name, but from 57 or something like that. And somebody says it came out in a movie. It was an instrumental guitar piece called Apache. And I'm trying to figure out who was the actual originator or creator of that song, and what actual show or movie did that play in. I'd like to see if I can.
As far as I know, Apache was just it was a single.
Exactly.
And I don't know, early 60s maybe?
Well, I've found all sorts of different authors, and I can't find anybody who seems to be a definite.
Was Dick Dale one of them?
Well, one of them was Jorgen something, a Norwegian.
The famous Norwegian surf writer.
But then there was a band. There are bands that actually take credit for it. It just seems that it changes every time, and I was wondering if anybody knew when the actual creation of that piece came about.
I'm trying to think who had the hit with it. Abby, do you know? You don't know? Oh, she's not listening. She's not paying attention. Never mind.
Because I think somebody could say the Ventures did it, but I never could find anything.
The Ventures did do it, but I don't think they had the original hit with it.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to find out is where the actual origination or the origin of that song came from. And also, if I looked up Pine really quickly while I was waiting here.
Yes.
And it's probably from the same root as pain, when you're painting.
Oh, very good.
And so you find it's from the Latin. Also in Middle English, pinen is to torment.
Oh, all right.
So there are two different possible sources, but it means to be in pain or to be tormented.
Very good. We will get that answer for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks. 800-933-5372, gms@kera.org if you have a question or an answer. Anna in Fort Worth, good afternoon.
Hello. I have a question, and it is, in late spring and early summer, I've noticed around here, and I've noticed it all my life, when you're driving down the highway on a country road, quite often after it has recently been mowed, there is this sweet, almost spicy, very distinctive smell that smells like it comes from a flower or something. And I have tried to trace down plants and try to figure out what this is, but it seems like as soon as you smell it, it's gone and you can't find it. And my father and I have talked about it. It's been there, like I said, all of my life, and I can't trace what it is. And I'm curious if anybody knows. Like I said, it's kind of sweet, a little bit spicy, and it's there every single year in the late spring. And you notice it driving down the highway. And then I also have an answer that I think may with the phone calls. Sometimes when you've dialed the number incorrectly, when you dial it correctly, you're accepting a toll charge for the call. Mm-hmm. So you have to actually dial it correctly so that you are accepting the fact that you will be charged for the call. If you don't dial a 1 in front of it or something like that.
Very good. All right, Anna, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's go next to Rich in Fort Worth. Hi. Hey,
Yeah,
Rich.
hello?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, Glenn. I was wondering, I've looked at, probably 25 food stores in the Fort Worth area, a couple in Arlington, and at least one in Azle. I cannot find Post Grape Nuts Flakes. Post Grape Nuts Flakes have been around forever. They were around when I was a kid back in the late 40s and 50s. Mm-hmm. And at any rate, Walmart does not carry Post Grape Nuts Flakes. There was just a hole there one day when I went for it, and I wondered if they had stopped producing it.
I have no idea, but we'll try to find out. Of course, there is always the greatest breakfast cereal of all time, which is Grape Nuts.
All right, yes. One other small question.
Hmm?
When did Lake Louisville become Lake Louisville? Because years ago, it was Lake Dallas.
Before my time, I don't know. We'll try to find out.
Take care, again.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
If somebody knows the answer to any of those questions, 800-933-5372 or gms@kera.org. Back to nincompoop. We turn, as we always do, in times of trouble, to the great John Chardy. This is from the original Browser's Dictionary. Nincompoop, dolt, blockhead, simpleton. He goes on to say, few words have given our dictionary makers so much needless trouble. Dr. Johnson wrongly sought to derive it from Latin non compos mentis, meaning mentally incompetent. The OED rejects Johnson's suggestion only to dismiss the form as probably only a fanciful formation. And that clerk's guess has been aped by all subsequent dictionaries, which dismiss the form as origin unknown. Yet, the OED provides all the necessary clues in its own citations of the earlier form. 1676, Nicom poop, and 1694, Nicum poop, which, if taken to be of Dutch origin, as the sound suggests, present no difficulty. Dutch nicht, niece, female cousin, preposition for of or about, pope, pronounced in English poop, for fool or clown. So there you go. Adobe niece. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org, and Aaron in Bedford. Hi.
Hi, this is Aaron. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Hey, I've got two answers and two questions, if that's okay.
Fine.
On your longaniza sausage or chorizo, if the caller looks up chorizo de San Manuel in San Manuel, Texas, they'll link onto that, and they'll find the distributors that are up here.
Okay.
On the grape nut flakes, if you actually go to Albertsons and specifically order that, those are the hard-to-find items, and they have a service there at any of the Albertsons where they will actually order it for you through the distributor.
Very good.
The two questions I have is, the first one is for the first baseman's glove in baseball. Why is it not allowed to use in other positions? It's understandable why catchers can't use it, but it's, why it's not used in other positions. And the last question is, I noticed that on the Paramount Pictures emblem, every time the picture starts, and it's Paramount Pictures from the late 30s to present, that around the 50s it had, and before, it had 20, now that sounds ridiculous, but it sounds like you've got 24 stars that encompass the mountain, and then after a certain period of time, now it's 22 stars. I wonder why that was.
You're paying much more attention to this than I am. If Sam Staggs was here from a few days ago, we could ask him. We'll try to get the answer for you. As far as the first baseman's glove goes, I don't know why anybody would use it in the first place. A regular baseball glove makes it very easy to catch a ball or field a ball. First baseman's mitts it's almost as if they're designed to make you not catch the ball. So I don't know why anybody would use them in the first place.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try to find out.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks. A line open, 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. This is somebody who has much too much time. From Tam, listening on the sly at work. What are the hit songs from the 60s bands Krabby Appleton and Crazy Elephant? I remember the bands names. I don't remember the songs. If you can help, 800-933-5372. GMS at KERA.org. This is from Jim and Denton. What is the origin of the term dibs? As in, I've got dibs on this, meaning that's mine. And there are other questions and answers to get to. Call us, 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. We'll be right back.
A life of ideas. It's more than just a phrase. There's something out there beyond the world of professions and practicalities. Find a new dimension of life in SMU's Master of Liberal Arts program evening graduate courses with an interdisciplinary mix of literature, history, human behavior, and the fine arts. Applications for the fall semester will be accepted through August 1st. Information online at smu.edu/MLA.
On the Motley Fool radio show, we talk to everyone from America's top executives to film critic Leonard Maltin about business and some other really important stuff, too.
Well, I was in a munchy mood, and I recently had some form of a New Age bonbon with Nestle's Crunch attached to it. That was pretty good.
That's the Motley Fool radio show from NPR.
Saturday afternoons at 1 on KERA 90.1 Radio Unlimited.
This Sunday evening from 7 to 10, I hope you'll join me, Paul Slavens, for 90.1 at Night, an eclectic music program where all genres of music live in happy, if slightly chaotic, coexistence. And this week in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll meet Lisa Bush, also known as DJ Wild in the Streets. We'll hear some of her favorite new music and sample her divinely kitschy collection of vintage vinyl. Join me for 90.1 at Night this Sunday evening at 7 on KERA 90.1, Radio Unlimited.
It's 12:22. You're listening to The Glenn Mitchell Show on KERA 90.1. Before hitting the roads for your morning or afternoon commute, go to the radio page of KERA.org and get the latest from Traffic Pulse Networks. You can get accurate, timely traffic information any time of the day. Just click on the traffic link on the radio page of KERA.org.
Welcome back. First hour today. Anything you ever wanted to know. All questions answered at 800-933-5372. We're also at gms@kera.org. This goes back to the question about genetics. In other words, why aren't all kids the same? David explains, I gather that the alleles, that is the genetic traits for a child, are from the grandparents, that there are in essence 4 sets of genes, maternal father and mother, paternal father and mother, available for the child's conception. The child's parents' genes would be available to their grandchildren. This is from my memory of several heady Scientific American books I read on sexual selection and diversity. Not light reading, in that I'm sure I did not comprehend everything they were saying. But at least that gets us started. 800-933-5372. gms@kera.org. This question has come up many times before. Why do construction sites have a flag and a potted tree at the top of their structures? This is from Pam. It's tradition. The flag part, I don't know. The potted tree part goes back to some sort of Norse tradition, myth, etc. It's been around forever. So that's what we know. 800-933-5372 or gms@kera.org. And from Irene, listening at home while doing laundry, can anyone recommend a great place for ceviche? I've had a hard time finding any in the Dallas area. I will tell you up front, we're going to limit this to 3 answers because everybody with a restaurant is now dialing. So the first 3 who get in, lovely. After that, Irene's on her own. All right, let's go back to the phones and talk to Bruce in Grapevine. Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, I originally had an answer for pine, but your previous caller got into it first. I can say that my dictionary says that pine, as in the tree, comes from one Latin root, which means fat for some reason, and pine, meaning to want or to yearn for, comes from another Latin root that means pain.
Okay.
And I also had dibs, since I had the dictionary open.
Okay.
It's a shortened form of dibstones, which I'm guessing from this entry were some form of English version of jacks.
A shortened version of what?
Dibstones, D-I-B-S-T-O-N-E-S.
Okay.
As if instead of jacks, the metal jacks you use stones.
Yeah. All right, very good.
Who knows?
All right, Bruce, thanks. A line open, 800-933-5372 or gms@kera.org. And Carol in Dallas, good afternoon.
Hi there.
Hey.
I just had a question. In the afternoons when I'm coming home, the Market Watch segment that y'all do, there's a version of Stormy Weather, a piano version that's played, and I've tried to find it, but I don't know what it is. So I was curious who the artist is that does that version of Stormy Weather.
You're lucky that we have a professional broadcaster today who can answer that question.
Well, I figured as much.
Jeannie Mascara was off today, and Abby Goldstein, our boss, is here, and she knows the answer.
Well, I actually don't know the answer, but I can tell you where to go to find it.
So upset.
How about that?
Okay, that's great.
If you go to marketplace.org, you'll be able to either find the information on their site or email them for more information.
Okay, great. I'll do that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Let's get a call next from Curtis in Euless. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, this is Curtis, and I was going to comment on the panning away. One of the things that came to my mind is what I've always heard in songs and lyrics is Lonesome Pines. And what I feel it is, the meaning or the other meaning of pine away as far as looking to someone that's lost their lover is they're lonesome. So that's my answer there.
Okay.
And also, there was one other word that I wanted to mention is kowtow. I don't know whether you've ever had that on or not before.
We haven't had, and
but I think I have the answer, is that the old Chisholm Trail used to kowtow or to cater to cowboys. And the little towns along the way would have baths and the various houses for people to go to, hotels and things like that. And they would cater the cowboy because the cowboys paid them the money. And that's what happened. They kowtowed to the cowboy.
Very good. All right. Thank you. Let's see. I should have figured he would know this. From the great Tom Blackwood. Apache was a hit first in England in 1960 by the Shadows, which was Cliff Richard's backing group. The guitarist of the Shadows was Hank Marvin, famous to guitarists in England as the first man in England to own a Fender Stratocaster, and a pink one at that. And apparently I was wrong. The Ventures were the first ones to have a hit with Apache in the U.S. I would have sworn it was somebody else. But anyway, the Norwegian guy, he goes on to say, Something Jorgensen was simply one of the many people who covered it in 1961. It was written by a ukulele player called Jerry Lorden. Imagine it on a ukulele. Hank Marvin learned it from Jordan, went on tour together. So there you go. The original version of Apache was from the Shadows in England in 1960, but the Ventures did have the first U.S. hit with it. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. And Tom, you have too much time on your hands. Answer from Parnell. This goes back to fragrance in the late spring. The mystery fragrance the listener is trying to identify is Gail Parnell here is wondering about the spelling, Ligustrum, maybe. An evergreen shrub prominent in the south. The small white flowers produce a strong, sweet, spicy fragrance that's quite haunting. I've smelled it all my life and look forward to every spring for its return. Nancy informs us that grape nut flakes can be bought at Kroger, because she did it yesterday. We get an answer to this, but we did. Naturally from Blackwood again. Krabby Appleton's hit, he doesn't remember. However, Crazy Elephant's one hit, apparently they were a one-hit wonder band, was Gimme Gimme Good Lovin'. So call us 800-933-5372. We're also at GMS at KERA.org. The Krabby Appleton hit, by the way, was Go Back. And does he not have time to do anything else? Anyway, Blackwood goes on to say, before anyone asks, Krabby Appleton was the name of the villain on the Tom Terrific Kids show. Let's go to the phones, and Lloyd in Denton. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
My question was, whenever something is referred to as the piece de resistance, as in like a creation or sculpture or painting or anything for that matter,
right.
I was wondering what the origin of that phrase or that was.
Well, it would be French, which puts me out of the game. Resistance, I'm sure, means something different in French than it does in English. You're right. It means that the thing that stops the debate or that's the end of the argument or whatever. We have many people listening online in Paris, and so we'll try to get an answer for you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thanks. Let's go to Mike in Cedar Hill. Hi.
Hi, Glenn. I've got a question about being addicted to chapstick.
Yes.
I'm sure you've heard this question before, but I've been using chapstick since I was about 5 years old, and I cannot get off of it. If I go more than about 24 hours without chapstick, I'll have to run out and get one as soon as I can.
Mm.
And I've made it a habit of talking to other people who use chapstick. They all tell me exactly the same thing. So I'm just wondering if anybody's looked at why is chapstick so addicting, and why aren't there warning labels?
When they started making chapstick back in the early part of the 20th century, cocaine was not illegal. And they had some sort of thing where they were grandfathered in and they could keep... I have no idea. We'll find out.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Let's go to Kevin in Richardson. Hi.
Hello, Glenn.
Hey.
One place you might go for some amazing ceviche is...
Before you tell me the name of the place, do you work there?
Absolutely not.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Nueve Leon on, I guess, Lower Greenville.
All right. Very good.
Fabulous. And I believe there is a lip balm abusers group that's forming in Dallas somewhere. So good luck.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Let's see from Dave listening on the sly at work. Oh, no, he says listening blatantly at work. I am neither a restaurant owner nor an employee. He says IMHO. La Calle Dolce in Oak Cliff is unrivaled, he says, for ceviche. He also asks a good question. Do magnets wear out? I don't think so. But that's a great question that's never been asked here before, so perhaps we should, we just did. Ask it. Do magnets wear out? 800-933-5372. GMS at KERA.org. Question from Brad. During World War II, the British called the Germans Jerrys. The Germans called the British Tommies. Does anyone know where this came from? I assume the cartoon came from this, but where did it originate? Well, German/Jerry is easy because you just sort of, mess with the name. Tommies from England, I'm sure that there's a great story from this, and we actually have somebody who could probably explain the answer, but she's a coward and she won't step up to a microphone to answer anything under any circumstances, but we'll try to find out. 800-933-5372, gmskera.org. From Maria, this goes back to the question about chorizo. I found good chorizo and longaniza in Ole Supermarket in Plano, the corner of, boy, you better not work here, I'm going to be mad, corner of Park Boulevard and Jupiter. On the ceviche question, she should specify Mexican or Peruvian ceviche. They are different, and I have not found good Peruvian ceviche yet in Dallas. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. We get our biannual update on the North Texas and the U.S. and the world and the universe economy from Bud Weinstein. From Frank in Dallas, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, my name is Frank. I've got actually two answers for you, one on the genetics question and one on the chapstick question. On the genetics, the actual answer is in any animal that reproduces sexually, you have a number of chromosomes of which you have two copies of, one of which you get from each parent. So and then what happens is in the cells that reproduce, those split. So essentially you get one of those, half of a pair essentially, and then that will then match with another half of a pair from the other parent. If they didn't reorganize, you could potentially have 4 offspring. You could have like the first set from one and the second set from the other. But what happens is in the sexual reproduction cells themselves, the individual genes, in the case of the human, you have like 180,000, they will actually cross over and form different combinations. So what you have then is, despite the fact that what you really have is 4 copies of potential chromosomes, you end up with hundreds of millions of potential variations of those, and that's why you'll get some people who look similar in families, but some that show significant variability.
Very good. All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
A line open, 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Let's get a call from Frank in Dallas. Hi. Hey, Frank.
Hi.
Hey.
Calling to refute an answer from a pretty imaginative listener about the origin of the word kowtow.
Kowtow, yes.
Yes, actually, it comes from Chinese word, which is kowtow. It means to bow down the head.
Very good. And, it's funny.
And it's like one of those... it's like one of those words like ketchup, which means ketchup.
Right.
And it's tomato juice.
Even as I was listening to your answer, I was reading an email from Trick who says, to show great reference, blah, 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 often misspelled, so on and so forth, origin being the Chinese word, meaning the same as it does in English. So not only are you right, but somebody already emailed to say that you were right. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. One line open, 800-933-5372. We're also at GMS at KERA.org. Give us a call. Why? Oh, this is a good... Ooh. This is only going to make Blackwood email us again. But fine, because somebody has to give us the answer to this. In the music business, if you record somebody else's song, it's called a cover. In other words, you are covering somebody else's song. So why is it called a cover? Don't know. That's why I love doing this show, because somebody asked a question, and I realize in my billions of years of life, I've never come across that question, and now I know. Okay, Stormy Weather. Oh, Jeff and Irving says the version on Marketplace of Stormy Weather is Red Garland. How could we not have known that? A Dallas guy. The piano version, he says, of Stormy Weather was played by Red Garland. I have the CD. It's called All Kinds of Weather. So the great Red Garland is your man. 800-933-5372. We're also at GMS at KERA.org. Good question from Paul, presumably listening on the sly at work. How did legal size paper come about, and why is it still used instead of normal 8.5 by 11-inch paper? Good question. From Brian. Every summer for the 6 years I've lived in the area, pre-West Nile virus, I've noticed an occasional bird, usually a blue jay, but also grackles, missing its head and neck feathers, making it appear to be bald. Does anyone know what causes this? Parasite? Virus? Is it fatal or just a temporary condition? Could be a fashion statement. I mean, you have to keep that in mind. From Kimberly, I was wondering if you or one of your listeners could help me out. What are the origins of the skeptic lover's phrase, taking something with a grain of salt? Something tells me that's biblical, and something tells me that I will remember it probably during the break. But if not, somebody will call and straighten me out. 800-933-5372. We're also at GMS at KERA.org. We'll be right back.
Support for KERA comes from you, our members, and from Angie's List, featuring your neighbors' ratings on over 250 home services, from plumbers and handymen to mechanics and mulch. Angie'sList.com.
The Deep in the Arts calendar for Friday features a chef in drag, countercultural comedy, and a soul legend. At Will Rogers Auditorium in Fort Worth, the Blue Shoe Project presents the one-of-a-kind Al Green. Other musical picks include Texas favorite Billy Joe Shaver at Love and Warren, Texas and Grapevine. Also don't miss master mixers Paul Oakenfold and Armin van Buren at the Black Forest Theater in Dallas. Hyenas in Fort Worth invites you out for 2 nights with Tommy Chong and Shelby. At the Latino Cultural Center, get ready for some spicy antics as Arteo Cliff and Martise Enterprises present Pico de Gallo, Return of the Queen. And the large-scale paintings of William Betts are on display at the Holly Johnson Gallery in Dallas in the show titled Sliver of Clarity. For these and other events, go to the radio page of KERA.org. For Deep in the Arts, I'm Jeannie Mascoro.
We've got a heat advisory in effect until 6 o'clock tomorrow. Partly cloudy today, a high of 100 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 78.
I'm Ed Gordon. Later today on News and Notes, a conversation with acclaimed actor Terrence Howard, the Rastafarian religion's high holiday, and 50 years later, a look back at one of gospel music's greatest concerts. That's later today on News and Notes from NPR News.
Tonight at 8 on KERA 90.1, Radio Unlimited.
Welcome back. First hour today. Anything you ever wanted to know, all questions answered, all knowledge revealed. Call us, 800-933-5372, gms@kera.org. Somebody wondered earlier on about how Lake Louisville got its name, and GN says if faded memory serves, Lake Louisville became that in the late 70s when the city of Louisville annexed all the land surrounding the dam. Originally named Garza Little Elm Reservoir. In the 50s, when the dam was built at the confluence of Garza and Little Elm Creeks, I cannot recall the name ever being Lake Dallas officially, but Lake Dallas was always implied. And also an answer to the Crazy Elephant question. Crazy Elephant, flash in the pan, Houston garage band with a one-hit wonder. Gimme some lovin'. So apparently Blackwood was right for once. 800-933-5372, gms@kera.org. Good question from Paul, listening on the sly at work. How did Texas Hold'em become the poker game of choice for the World Poker Championships? I don't know the answer, but I can guess. Because in Hold'em, most of the cards, you get 2 cards, but the other 5 cards, it's basically 7-card stud, but everybody has the 5 mutual cards. And what it probably leads to is, there's always bluffing in poker, but because all the players have so many cards in common, if you're going to bluff, you'd really better be good at it. Or if you have great cards, you should be able to take all of their money. Imagine draw poker or regular stud. It wouldn't work. It would work. It would be great fun. But somebody who was good at running a bluff would have more would have more advantage than he would in Hold'em. That's my guess, but I could be wrong. 800-933-5372, gms@kera.org. And Joe in Fort Worth, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
I have a question and an amplification.
Okay.
My question refers to a gentleman you had on about a month and a half ago.
I don't remember.
Who was promoting a book, the thesis of which was that if you want to be successful in life, you should smile and nod at everyone you meet. And when you're in conversation with people, you should listen to find out what they need and then try to give it to them, as best I can recollect.
I do remember the topic, but I don't remember his name.
Well,
but between now and 1 o'clock, the guy who does know will come back and we'll find out.
Okay, great.
All right.
My amplification relates to why siblings are not identical. In part, it's because of a process called recombination, where pieces of DNA are actually moved from one strand to another, the purpose of which is to try new parts of genes or whole genes in combination with other genes in the hope that somehow that way things will get better.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
A line open, 800-933-5372. We're also at gms@kera.org. And Stephen in Dallas. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I was calling to answer the question regarding magnetism, whether magnets lose their ability to... Right. It gave me a flashback to my college physics class where we did a lab on magnetic fields. And indeed, they do have the propensity to lose their magnetism and, in fact, can be recharged, actually. That's your answer.
All right. Very good. Thank you. And that gives us an open line at 800-933-5372. We continue to be available at KERA.org. That's where we got this from Eric in Dallas. My kids and I would like to know what determines where you get a shot at a doctor's office. My baby gets them in the thigh. The rest of us either in the arm or the hiney. Probably the first time I've read the word hiney in my 10 years here. So how come you get the needle in a particular place? 800-933-5372 or gms@kera.org. A couple of answers here. The first one from Eric. This goes to alarms. From my understanding, the terminology referring to a noisy alarm as going off comes from the act of preparation. A normal clock has no alarm set, and the user must activate the alarm to turn it on. When it makes noise, it is in effect, from the use of that language, going off. That's the best I've been able to come up with after a long time of trying to answer my students' questions on the same topic. So that's a pretty good answer as far as I'm concerned. And from Robert in Fort Worth, this goes back to the phone question. A recording saying that dialing 1 is required might be deemed as necessary to explain that there is a charge. However, that does not explain why they don't put through a call when 1 has been dialed when it isn't needed. I doubt that an individual would not want to make the call because it's free when they had their heart set on paying for it. Perhaps somebody from the phone company will call us. 800-933-5372, GMS at KERA.org. And Santa, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hey.
Glenn. Hi. I had a question about chemistry. I'm going to be a junior in high school, and I was getting.
Sorry, go ahead.
According to Rutherford.
I think your phone is going on vacation. In fact, I'm sure it has. Sorry, call back 800-933-5372. David in Plano, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine.
You had a question earlier with regard to the origins of the word Tommy.
Yes.
Okay. Forgive me. My.
Are you from here? I detect like maybe a Weatherford accent or.
Actually, it's Euless, but you're close.
Sorry.
No, I've been here 13
go
years.
ahead.
Been here 13 years. Originally from England. Tommy goes back to Tommy Atkins, who was a character or caricature created in World War One, featured, I believe, in British Forces expeditionary magazines and propaganda at the time. And he was your stereotypical working-class Brit sent overseas to defeat the Hun and preserve the empire and all that good stuff. So it's Tommy Atkins. And it also gave birth to the Tommy gun, which is a nickname for the machine gun as well.
Very good. David, thank you.
No problem. You're welcome.
A line open, 800-933-5372. We're also at GMS at KERA.org. About 8 minutes left for all your questions and all your answers. Bud Weinstein's with us in the next hour. So fight through it and call us, 800-933-5372 or GMS at KERA.org. Let's talk to Ben in Louisville. Hi.
Hi, Glenn. I have an answer for you on the baseball mitt, the first base mitt.
Yes.
The first baseman probably touches the ball second on the field to the catcher. Of course, the pitcher handles it more. And digging throws out of the dirt. The mitt is specifically designed to help the first baseman do that.
Very good. I've tried to play with one of those, and it doesn't work. I mean, a regular baseball glove, it's fine, but those things are just, imagine trying to field a position with a catcher's mitt.
Well, that's exactly right. It's a specialty mitt.
Yeah, okay.
And I played ball for 10 years and tried out for the Dodgers in LA and all that kind of stuff. So the guys from Wilson told us all about that.
All right.
And then I had a question for you.
Sure.
And I've been listening since 1997, since I came to Dallas. And I was wondering if you've ever compiled a book of both the best and the worst answers you've had on the radio.
Let's see. You're the 877,000th person to ask that question. No, the answer is no, but it's in the works.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
we're working on it.
It'd make a great premium for the.
It would, but it would be much better as a thing on a website because, as you know from the show, somebody calls with a question, somebody calls with an answer, and it sounds like it's done. Except the next week, somebody calls back and said, it was a tuna, it wasn't a dolphin. Or somebody calls and says it was green, it wasn't blue. And so putting it in print would not be a good idea. But, we're working on a website that will make that work.
Okay, thanks so much. Enjoy the show.
Thank you. Jeff Whittington, the person who stops me from going off the tracks is here.
Hey there, Glenn.
Hey.
I was downstairs getting a guest for the next hour, and when I came, there is. When I came back,
Bud Weinstein. I'm sorry,
exactly.
I forgot.
When I came back, someone said that there was a call about a guest we had a few weeks ago.
Yes.
I believe it was Tim Sanders